All right, we are live. Hi, Aruna. How are you?
Not too bad, Ishan. Thanks. How are you doing?
Very good, and welcome to the show. And very excited to uncover your story today. And as you know, this is a podcast where I cover stories of Indian expats. You live in Sydney, so you're definitely an expat. And people who have either transitioned from corporate to entrepreneurship, or they have done something interesting in their career itself.
Yeah, yeah.
And you are among those people who have done pretty well in your career. Today, you head the analytics and data science for Australia and Asia, and pretty much
Asia
looks like
Pacific and Middle East region.
half of the world for HCL Technologies.
Yes.
And I've seen your journey with whatever I could capture on LinkedIn. So the whole idea is to get the insights of how you have done all these things and what drove you and the challenges you went through and all of those things to inspire our audience and inspire me, because I think you have done really well.
Thank you so much, Ishan. That's really a good summary about me and knowing about me as well. So I'm quite excited. I've been seeing your podcast. I was just thinking you have got people from varied backgrounds, interesting, amazing stories, and quite inspiring. So I'm really glad to be part of your podcast. Honored.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much again for coming on the podcast. And let's start with how do you introduce yourself today? Who you are, who Aruna Pattam is.
Okay, so I am as you said, head of AI and data science for HCL Technologies, looking after the Asia Pacific and Middle East region. From a career perspective, and me, I'm a mother of three kids. At varied ages. One is in uni, one is in high school, one is in primary school. So I've covered all the
The whole
groups
range.
very well. So that's me. So in terms of quick summary, yeah.
That's awesome. And you've been in Australia for long, Aruna?
Yeah, so goes back to 24 plus years now. So I was just realized that the number of years on earth in Australia is now more than the number of years I've been in India.
Back in
So
India.
I've
All
just
right.
crossed that number of years. So probably it becomes the home now. Still, there's a bit of heart is still back in India, been there, grown up there. But yeah, so it's been a many
Which
years now.
which part of India do you come
I
from?
come from Chennai, South India.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course I know Chennai.
that's where it all started. Yeah, yeah.
And what was the reason for moving to Australia?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a interesting story. I might wanted to just just to go back a little bit to give you a bit of my journey and
Sure,
where how
sure.
I landed in Australia. So
Yeah.
I was in year 11 and year 12, probably go from there. I was an okay girl, studying, average, doing, and didn't have many aspirations in the sense I have to do this. Those days, yeah, okay, to just do a degree and get married and settle. That was my perception. So went to did my bachelor's of business administration. Just it's a easy course. Go and
Oh,
enjoy your college life, have good friends, and then so let's move on. So that was nothing. I had to do doctor, I had to do engineer, nothing of that sort. And then I finished my bachelor's of business administration. In fact, halfway through, there was a good lecturer I had. She had done MBA and she was teaching us. And she used to tell her all her inspiring stories about MBA and the career option. And those days, MBA was just catching up, and it was not known very well. Very few people knew about MBA and how it was coming. And
especially the BBA was not that popular thing, and it was mostly engineering or medical was most
yes,
popular.
yeah.
If you can't get in there, then you probably do accounting and
Yes, it is interesting because the
yeah,
reason I took BBA is because it was very close to my house,
yeah,
and it was just they just introduced that course that year.
right,
So
okay.
I thought I will do that, and so she was quite inspiring. And as and when she was telling her story, and she was quite inspiring in the way she wanted women to have aspiration and to do something, to grow up in life and stand for themselves. And slowly got into it. And then she created a little group who are interested into further studies, and like a coaching she used to give us after evening coaching, and she wanted to create a group. So she asked who are all interested. I just went there, because I liked the way she did. So I just went there, and then slowly got interesting. She gave all the materials to do MBA. She said, don't stop here. You guys have the potential, you can do. So that's when I started getting interested in MBA, and did a lot of, she gave a lot of support and did my entrance exam, all of that stuff, and got through in one of the reputed universities back in the south. And then, yeah, that's how because otherwise I thought after finishing this degree, as always others do, I thought that's my journey. But then I went into MBA and did that. So I did my finance and marketing specialization in MBA.
Finance and marketing, yeah.
And but my all my college mates, they were all from engineering background, be computer science and mechanical engineering, and I sort of felt a little left out. You are like a generic,
Okay.
fluffy there, no, nothing very technical. So I thought I should sort of fill this gap. So in my summer holidays, that's when computers was picking up. Right. So I said, I will go and do, a course. So I joined this. It was basic and C programming, I think it started. Yeah, I went there and enrolled myself, and there was, I think, I'm one or two females there, rest all men. And I struggled a little bit in the few weeks, and there was a bit of people making fun. And at that age, I didn't have the maturity. I said, no, this is not for me. And I quit within 2 weeks. I didn't pursue further. And
so
I said,
that was when you were doing your postgraduate, which is MBA. Yeah. MBA. Okay. All right. So you did in the summer holidays. Okay.
Yeah. So I like, I think that's I like anything emerging and coming, and I wanted to be there in front and try having a taste of all this emerging, and computers was emerging. And I was thinking, I don't want to be left out, and I wanted to do it because all my background is very generic stuff, right? So, and then, so I thought maybe I'm not made for technical. I'm maybe more a generalist, and I left it and just moved on. And when I was doing my final year of my MBA, my boyfriend, he wanted to go overseas to study. And he and then said, okay, where do you want to go? Because at those days is US, America, or UK, that's the stock standard. Australia, not many people know. He said, no, I'm thinking, I don't want to go where every people, all of people go.
Everybody goes, yeah.
And so he said, then I think I'll go to Adelaide. I said, oh, where is Adelaide? And then he said, no, it is in Australia. This is where, why? And he said, because he loves cricket and he watched cricket in Adelaide Oval. So he said, that's the place I wanted to go and study. So it was funny. So that's how I came to know about Australia. Before then, I didn't have much clue. So he came to Australia to study in Adelaide. 2-3 months after that, he felt lonely and he wanted me to come. He said, why don't you also come with me? I said, are you kidding me? I'm just going to finish my MBA, and how do I come? Because we were not married then. How do you expect me to come? And he said, why don't you come and study with me? Then I said, okay, I don't know whether my dad is going to, let me do this. So because he didn't know at the time we were going out and all of that stuff. My mom knew about it. So then I spoke to my mom, and then we were, okay, that was sort of sorted out. My mom convinced my dad that she wants to go to overseas and study, why going to give her an opportunity. And then what do I study? So that because I did MBA, so maybe I should do a PhD or something along that line. That you do masters and then next is PhD. That was my. And then I thought I did a bit of a research and discussed with my husband. And then it's going to be generalistic again. And you're coming to a new country, new culture, doing a management. Was not sure about the opportunities there.
Right.
And he also checked. And then I said maybe I need to go technical. So that's where it's a safer bet. Technical is technical wherever you go, but management, you need to have the culture, you need to have the language, all of that stuff. So, and then it went back to me. So maybe I should do computers again. This is probably for, and I felt a little bit, will I be in a new country trying to do computers again? Will I do it? And then I said, if you don't do it now, this is your last ever opportunity to get into this. If you don't, you'll never. So you have to study anyway. So why don't you do computers? So that's how. So I got admission into University of South Australia. So came here. And this funny story, I can still remember. I came 1 week later because of my visa delays and stuff. So 1 week classes have already been gone. So I went to the student support center, got all the information, and then they gave me all the information. They gave me a floppy disk and say, you can, this is assignment. And then I took the floppy disk and took everything. I didn't know what to do with the floppy disk. And there was this person in the computer center. She said, go to the computer center. I went to the computer center. I said, excuse me, can you help me? Can you tell me how to insert it? Because I got no clue of how to. And then he asked me, okay, what are you doing? I said, I've got admission into Master of Computers. Like, he gave me such a
look. Yeah.
She's come here to do masters and she doesn't know even insert the floppy disk. And later on, I realized he was actually in the same class as me. So that was interesting. And then he was nice. He was taught me everything, like how to put the assignments in and submit and all that stuff. So that was my first experience. And initial 6 months was a bit of a tough, moving from your family, missing your family. The climate was different at the time. It was very, very cold. The culture and the teaching system is also different. In uni over there, you won't be spoon-fed, but at least you will get some, over here, it's yourself, it's your own personal interest that you do it or not. Nobody's there to sort of even tell you you're going the wrong track, or unless you ask for it. So it was a bit hard to get there. So I actually failed in my first, I think I took 3 subjects. I failed in one of them. That was C programming. So again, there is a reiteration, right? So I said, and I was talking to my husband, what am I, I'm not doing well. And he said, it's okay, first 6 months, international students, they go through this phase and, and we, I have to do and I have to go. And so I moved out and started getting more focused. And by the time I got used to, 6 months was enough for me to get used to everything. And after that, it was very good. I got some C's and HDs and distinctions, sort of thing. Spread out all over. I got a high credit, which was quite pleasing from where I started. Where I started, and I started to believe that yes, I can also do computers. It's not that hard. So that's how I sort of finished my course. And then I wanted, now it's looking into the job. And again, there, one of the hiccups I had was I didn't realize that in Australia, they actually do the graduate recruitment 1 year before. Back in India.
When you say 1 year before, what does that mean?
So if you're in a final year, like 4 years, if they will do it in 3rd year. They'll close everything in 3rd year.
Right, but you were doing masters, right?
Yeah, so they would. So if you're doing 2 years, the first year end, they will finish everything. So the second year.
Okay. So you didn't know that, so you didn't really go through that.
Because I was very cool that 6 months before my course finishes, I started looking for graduate recruitment. And I went there, they gave me a big book with all the company's name, addresses. And then over there, it says intake finished for, it was 2000. Intake for 2000 finished in 1998, so 1 year prior. So I was behind by 6 months. There was many companies have gone. So I didn't know what to, then I said, okay, I'm going to do anyway. So I took this big book, and those days you have to have, print out the CVs, have the stamps, have the covers. And I got everything and took the address, wrote to, I would have written 50 plus to everyone, and I said, you try it, at least you're trying it. If you don't get, you don't get. There were few selected companies who were actually taking graduate recruitment late. They had 2 intakes, one, most of them sort of finished. So I applied that, and luckily I did get, most 80% was no, sorry, unfortunately, all of that stuff. There are a few companies, they came back. There was one defense technology, DSTO. I was quite excited about that opportunity. It came in, I went through all the interview, and the good bit is all the interviews that I went, they actually gave credit to my MBA, which was good
That's interesting. How is
because
that?
they thought I'm mature compared to other uni
Ah,
students.
interesting. All right.
Because other uni students, because they're just pure finish your the course, and then most of them are bachelors and they come in, they're very,
Right.
whereas I had this business administration sort of background, and they found me mature. So, and that was, and now it was pleasing after all the effort I put
All
into
the
this,
hard work. Yeah. All right.
had
That's
a bit
very
of
interesting.
leverage. So I was happy about that. So I got through and I was waiting for the offer. And then the lady called back and said, unfortunately, I can't give you the offer because it was my mistake. I overlooked, you're only a PR, you're not a citizen.
Oh,
And
they wanted a
apparently for the defense thing, you need to
defense. You
have
needed.
minimum 10
True.
years of PR. And
Yeah.
she felt
Yeah.
really, really bad. You were a really good fit. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, we can't do, there's nothing I could do. So that's gone. Then I was waited and waited. I then got three companies. They wanted to interview me. I did well in all of the three. One was in Sydney, Melbourne, and Canberra. So there's Medicare.
Medicare.
I
Yeah.
had SAS,
Yeah.
cancelled
Sasta.
SAS, and the other one Unisys. I think I got through, and I didn't know which one to pick. This absolutely, I had no idea about anything. So what do I do? Then I look. The only difference is that SAS gave more perks in terms of moving. So they covered all the cost of moving from Adelaide. They gave me accommodation, 6 months, paid accommodation, serviced apartment for me. They said they can pay, fly my husband at that time. He was in Adelaide 2 times a year.
Wow, that's a
That was
lot.
the factor. That was those days.
Hmm.
You don't get
Hmm.
these days
Hmm.
those sort of benefits. So I
Yeah.
was quite excited, and I said, "Oh, wow! I think I will go to SAS because
Go
they
with
are the
SAS.
ones
Yeah.
giving me more compared to others." That's pretty much it. And I'm
Right.
lucky because the Medicare one was a networks related role. And if
Hmm.
I had taken that, that's not me. Networks and me don't go. And I feel that everything happens for a reason. So I believe
True.
in, you do your hard work, but someone out there who
Yeah.
actually guides
Completely.
you and makes it happen. I think that's what it is. I should say I'm glad that I took SAS as my
Yeah.
first job, and landed in Sydney in 2000. And so went well. So I started my job quite excited. And then because in SAS, it's a very thorough graduate program. So you have 6 months of training. So because they have their own programming language, SAS programming language that they teach you for 6 months, and then they put you into
So
training.
SAS is BI and analytics kind of.
Yeah, analytics. It's analytics. But they do the data and BI and analytics like end to end. But their strength is in the analytics side of things.
Okay,
Um,
so this is where, so now I know how the whole thing started. So I looked at your profile, and you have been in analytics forever, once
yeah.
you started your job. So now I know you're an MBA and then you did your master's. I know your story of, why you moved to Australia.
Yes. Why those
And
different degrees?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And SAS is, of course, it was one of the best companies at that time to work with. I don't know how they're doing today.
Yeah.
And so that's where your base of analytics started. And
Yes.
because you were a business graduate, which is now I can see it was definitely an advantage, because analytics is not so much about technology, it's so much about the business side of it. So in fact, in all organizations you and I have worked, analytics most of the time sits within business rather than in
Yes.
technology.
Exactly. I
So
didn't know
yeah,
any of this, and in fact,
no,
I was very worried.
who knows when it starts, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was worried, right? Here I failed for the first subject, and when you're taking graduates, they look for marks because that's the
Right,
only
right,
indicator for them to
right,
take a person,
right,
right? And
right,
I've got this black mark, to start with, and I was a bit worried. So
right,
glad, there were some things that covered off,
right.
and made me come there. And I should thank, even now, SAS has got a very special place for me because that is the foundation. They're a very good company for me. And I started, and I went to the training. It was like, again, going back to uni from 9 to 5. you'll have, they teach you about the programming languages. They give you this big course notes, those
Got to study.
files, folders that you have to take home and read. And within, first week was okay. Second week, I started getting tired and exhausted, and I go home, open this file folders. Within half an hour, I doze off. I thought it was just probably initially. Then it happened for a week. Then I called my husband. I said, probably full-time job is not for me, because in uni you just go here 1 hour and there 1 hour, and you get a break.
It's not that tiring. Yeah,
not that tiring, but fear, maybe that is why. And I said, probably I can't work. I was really scared that how am I going to work for my entire next how many ever years if I can't even handle that. And then I used to, come from my service apartment is 300 Burnsby Road is my office. The 302 is my service apartment. And I used to say, I'm so exhausted and tired to go, because it was, and he said, okay, where are you? I said, in 300. Where's your service apartment? Is 302. And you're saying you're tired and exhausted to go to work, because it was such a steep, it's a steep. And then I realized actually I was pregnant.
Okay.
And this I didn't know. And I was very worried. That was not something that I expected. And here you go, 10 days to your first job as a graduate recruitment, and I have this, and I didn't know what to do, and I was alone here. My husband was there, and I was speaking to my parents, and they, as usual, I was in double minds. Do I career or what do I do? They said, no. This happened. That person did a good career, but because of she didn't have the baby, she never had any baby. Those sort of stories. They were all saying, no, you have to. So I didn't know what to do. I was like putting it off. And then my husband said, no, you have to go and talk to them. You can't sort of hide it forever. You have to. So I didn't know what to do. I was quite new. That's my first job. And there was this training director we had. She was a very nice lady. I went to her office, sat down, and she said, what's it? I couldn't talk. I just cried. I just cried literally there, because I was literally scared that after all this hard work I've put through, that I'm not going to lose my job because of this. I didn't know how the Australian system works. And she said, she got worried. She and she said, no. This is against discrimination. We can't do like that. And she gave me, this support and assurance, it won't happen. We are here to support you. That cannot be taken as a factor, because I was not even probation. I'm not permanent yet. All of that stuff that's there. So she was quite supportive. So again, I had to go through that phase of, the pregnancy and the tiredness, and also, not the best of my, I wanted to go there and learn and do well and all of that, but bit of a hiccup with this phase that I have to go through. And I went through that, and SAS was very supportive. And in a way it was okay, because they didn't have any big expectations on you, because you're still considered as a trainee. Graduate. Yeah. Learning stuff, right? So there was not critical projects that I'm going to be impacted. So it was actually good in a way, worked out. So then I was put into different rotations. I was in consulting for 3 months, sales support for 3 months, and internal IT and technical support. And then you get to choose which. Really? So it was not just like you come from technology. These days. Very nice. 6 months intensive training, 3 months of classroom training, 3 months of project training. Then you get to do work 3 months in each department. Very nice. And then you get to apply whichever team you wanted to go for. And then applied for consulting. And then that's how I got into sort of consulting phase. And also because at that time my mom, I should thank my mom, because she was there with me, helping me with a small baby, because I didn't take much maternity leave. I only took maybe 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. That's it. Yeah. If I can't, because I had to, I had that urge to, keep, I don't want to pause it. I'm in the start of the career. I don't want to pause it. So I did that. And she was here to help me. After 6 months, my dad got an accident, and he was in bed for some time, and my mom had to go. And I didn't have a child. I couldn't get a childcare. So I had to actually ask her to take the baby with her to India. And I didn't see her for 6 months. That was a very hard decision I have to make, because so it was hard. So I know in sometimes I took the phone. I sometimes you get to the emotion. I said,
Right.
leave everything and just go. And then that instinct, and then take the phone. I cried once, and my dad said, take your mom if you want to. It's okay. I can manage. There are other people. And I felt really bad for my dad. I said, no, that's not happening. That's fine. Then during the holidays, I went. After 2 months, I went for took a 3-week break and went and saw her and come back. So those are some of the tough choices
Real,
I have to
yeah,
make
tough choices. Yeah.
in the beginning. And the guilt of that was there for some time.
Right.
That you're putting
Sacrificing
your
your child
career
for, yeah.
in front, and no, I'm not a good mother. I'm not.
Mm,
That guilt
mm,
was there for
yeah.
quite some time, for many
Mm.
years actually. And then that all went well. So and I was like always looking for new things to do. So at that time, analytics was, it was an analytics company. I was more in the data integration and business intelligence type projects.
So
So I
your
said,
role was what, technical? What exactly you did at?
technical development. So I was writing code for getting the
Okay,
data and implementing the models into production, those sort of data, not actually writing code for models, not
so mostly
statistical
SQL,
models
yeah,
anymore.
mostly SQL.
See, SAS, there's SAS language for SQL, the
Okay,
same, similar. So
okay.
that's what I was building codes, implementing in production, packaging it, and all of that stuff. I did that. And so I was more doing it in the telecom, and I
You
saw a
started
lot
in
of
telecom, is it?
telecom.
Telecom.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of interesting projects in finance. Those days, finance had got all the money compared to even now. I think it's
Even
filled
now.
with money compared to telecom. So they were doing some interesting projects. They were doing cross sell and upsell, retention in finance. So I went to my boss and I said, I wanted to do some interesting projects. Then they gave me, you got to ask, sometimes you need to let your boss know what's your interest. And when I mentioned to them that I've done a couple of years of telecom, I want to get more into financial services space. So that's how they moved me into financial services. I was doing a bit of a project, and I asked again, I had this interest in analytics, and I said to my boss, I'm going to do a course in analytics. It started there again. And I said, and then she said to me, look, at that time, even though it's a big analytics company, you only had a limited analytics work. All
Right.
the projects were in BI. Analytics
Mm.
was only very few. There
And
was a
that's
lot of
why
projects.
that's
Consultants
why
out there. Sorry?
people are always still confused, not really able to differentiate between BI and analytics.
Yes, yes.
So I think that was the case then, and it's still the case in many ways. Anyway, so that's good. So I understand that.
Yes.
So your thought process was basically get me something in analytics. I'm in an
Yeah.
analytics company, but not really doing it. So how can
Yeah.
I get it? So you're by this you were like charged up to study all the time, is it? I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. Even now, I'm crazy. I think in one way, I have to keep learning something. Quite, it's something new. It gives me that satisfaction that I've learned something
satisfaction.
new.
Okay.
And hasn't gone. It's been that in 2002, that was my first thing after I've done my master's and got a job. And I said, analytics seems to be very exciting, and I want to do that. And she talked me over it, and she said, if you look at currently people with analytics background, they are in bench, or they're getting very few projects, whereas people in data integration and business intelligence, there's a lot of opportunities. Probably you work on that. So I said, okay, fine, maybe that's where it is. So I left, but I then said, give me projects that are related to analytics. So I wanted to be very close to that, even though I don't get the formal education. So they gave me interesting projects, retention, cross-sell, marketing automation, that sort of work. And then there was an opportunity where CBA wanted to do a financial crimes platform implementation. That was like the first ever for CBA, first ever for SAS in this region. And they said, do you want to take up that role as a tech lead? And it was like way above than what I was doing. very
So
complex
the
projects.
CBA offered you, or through SAS you had to go and work there?
Through a SAS, through
Okay,
SAS.
all right.
But that
Okay,
was a
okay.
project for, it's a very high
For
profile
CBA.
project,
Okay.
and very important, and you are actually leading it technically leading it end to end. So a little bit scared in between in the beginning. Then I thought, they said, we'll give all all the support. Do you want to take it? And I said yes. So they sent me to India for training. They had to get somebody from Asia, Middle East, because that's where the financial crimes thing, they were doing a lot of projects there. And then they gave me good training, and I came here and implemented it. But it was really a tough. I think in
So,
first.
Audra, let me ask you this. Do you believe, I've been constantly thinking about it, like your MBA has been very helpful in many ways.
Yep.
So when it comes to giving leadership role or trusting in somebody to be able to handle a client, or think beyond technology, so the MBA maybe was useful. So even when somebody looked at you that, can I give her a tech lead role, of course you might be doing a good job, but they would not say, no, she's kind of better than others in terms of she has done MBA, so she knows how to face customer or present or articulate and all of those things. So do you see somewhere the benefit of doing an MBA early on, or there wasn't that?
I was not able to hear you
Oh,
for
okay.
some time. You
Sorry.
made.
Okay. So is that okay now?
Yeah,
Able to
it's
hear?
okay now. It's okay now.
So I was thinking, was it your MBA degree that was helping you, others looking at you as maybe she can do it? She is also a developer like others, but maybe she can take up a
I
leadership role.
think it did. I was not conscious then.
Yeah.
Probably, subconsciously, I just went in and did what are the opportunities. But I think for them, it would have given, because those are all, you're talking to the clients, you're talking to understand the rep, even though it's technical, you have a slight edge over the other employees who were purely technical. I think that definitely gave me a slight edge. So I went there. I mean, those days I was only one woman over there in any meetings and with the client and over even in. So initially I was very conscious, and after that I got used to it. It became part of the. I didn't give much thinking around that, but it was a very difficult. The customer was difficult as well. They had good expectations on this solution, because I think that came right after that financial crisis we had, and all of that stuff. So anti-money laundering was, it's become very
So you're
important.
talking about 2004, 2003,
2004, 5, those
2004,
timelines,
okay.
right?
All right.
So it was quite stressful. In fact, that was during implementations. I worked non-stop, 44 hours non-stop, no sleep,
Seriously.
nothing, because there was so many bugs, and it did take my toll a bit. But again, it was one of my. It actually made me, shaped me, made me stronger. I think in if I take it, look at it positive way. I did that, and then and I was like pretty much 7 years being there in SAS. But and then I had to. I was pregnant with my second child then, and I had a situation. I was 8 months pregnant. My dad passed away, and that was another sort of a blow, because I didn't see him for 3 years, and I was actually looking forward this maternity leave, spending time with the baby and him, and this came as a big knock-on effect. So I left everything, went to India. I delivered the baby. It was over 6 months for my delivery. 6 weeks, sorry, 6 weeks for my delivery. And when they didn't come back, finished my delivery, stayed there, and then came back, and I was in an emotionally imbalanced state. And I said, I want to go back to India. So and I don't know. And then we were contemplating, what do we do? Do we pack up and go, or do we stay here? Because his family are all back in India. We are here and lost my dad, and we don't want another episode like this to happen. So we were in a little bit of an emotional, unstable space at the moment. And then we were thinking about it. I don't know what happened. Somebody knocked on the real estate agent knocked on our door, and said, do you want to, there is this couple, they want this house, they're looking, you don't need to put a sailboard or anything. They will just don't need to clean you. They just have come and look at it. If you're happy with the price, they'll, you give it, otherwise don't give it. Like, it was like, I've never even thought about, we're thinking, do we rent it, we sell it? And it's just like, I don't know. And then, I don't know, we said yes to it. We sold the house. We sold most of my furnitures and everything. And I sent my kids back. So I said, that's the reason I had to leave. Maybe if I didn't, I wouldn't have left SAS for forever, I think. So I said, I'm going to India and then we have to take our time to pack up and do everything. So I said, I'm going to, and then ex-colleague of mine, he was in Westpac. He said, do you want to come contracting in Westpac? And we said, okay, 6 months contracting while we wrap up everything to go back to India. So we did that. And I sent my kids there. I mean, my son was, just a new 6 months or a year old. My daughter, I put her in school. And after 6 months, she did not, it was like so many things you try. She was not comfortable there. And now my mom said, please decide now before you make a major move. She's been here 6 months. She's not liking, the culture, the way things are here. And I got worried. Do you look for your parents, this generation or that generation? You're torn in between the two generations here. Then I said, then if she's not comfortable and she can't, then we decided not to go, and then go back to again. And I was doing my contracting. Then Westpac, the boss, then he wanted to do a similar thing what we did in CBA. He wanted to establish a end-to-end financial crimes platform, and I had the experience. And he said, I want you to lead the team. And I said, fine, I will lead. Since then, I was only technical. I've not tasted. And then I said, yes, I'm very happy to do that. I will do all the, I'll be a solution architect. I'll do all the target state, all of that stuff, but I'm not doing management. He wanted me to be a manager, looking after the whole thing. I said, no, I'm not doing management, because I convinced myself that I'm a technical person, and management, and that too in Australia, the culture and everything, I'm not ready for it. So I said, I won't be, I don't think I'll be a fit for the management role, managing people and all that. So I'm happy where I am. So he constantly talked to me. 1 month he took, and then he said, no, you're taking it, and I'm going to give you all the support that you need. And so he convinced me. So I said, okay, fine. That's when I became moved into the management role. That's the first manager role I got. But one thing I found.
How did it go?
That's what it was. Initially, it was a bit of a thing. What happened was, I have team members and I have to give them work. And because I've got this many years of experience, of course, I know quickly how to do things. So I would actually do it myself. And then, and that thing of doing it has not gone. It took me some. And then my boss said, no, you have to let go. You have delegation. There's something called delegation. You got to let go. Give them, and it took me a few months, and then after that, I got the how to do things. So slowly I started delegating and got comfortable with the management role. And I mean, basically, I'm a very easy to approachable, and I'm not like, I don't seen as a very tough person. So I think that sort of worked well, and probably, I don't know, my education, everything sort of worked there. But initially I had that keeping it to myself, not giving it, because of I need to be done quickly, need to be done with quality, and not trusting on the people, right? So you need to give them room to grow, and it took some time. That was a very
good learning experience.
Good experience. And then I was there doing well for 3-4 years, and after that I was like getting, I need something change and exciting, because you've been doing this financial crimes for like nearly 4 years now. And I was looking for both internally and externally opportunities. And there's this role came for an executive manager role in CBA. And I looked at it and I said, nah, they're asking for 10 things. I only have 5 or 6 things, I'm not going to apply for it. And my husband looked at it, no, you should apply for it. I said, are you crazy? Are they asking for 10 things? I've got only, 5 or 6 things. And I'm going to look stupid if I go there and wanted that role. I'm not senior enough to do that role. I said, you're not going to lose anything, just apply. That's what he said. So because he sort of put pressure on me to apply, I said, okay, apply. If he doesn't get it, you have to be blamed. So I applied it, and I'm surprised I got a call. I got a call, and then they were happy with me, and they gave me a job. And I was like, literally, I thought I was not ready for that role. It's just that I accidentally applied for it, let's give it a go. And then I got the gig, and I was very excited. It's a step up in my career. And
That's a very good step up. So
yeah, it
yeah,
was
there are
actually,
two things. Yeah, sorry, you were saying something.
yeah, that's okay. Go, Ishan, you're saying
So
something.
two things I picked up, a message that I want to repeat. A while ago, you said you got to tell your boss what you want.
Yes.
If you don't tell your manager, how would
Yeah.
she or he know what you want? And you
Yeah.
start contemplating, bored and frustrated, looking for a job and this and that. But if you talk to your manager, chances are he or she will be a guide as well for you. If you are a good performer, they'll take care of you. So that was one
Yes.
thing you said. And second thing you said is you saw only 5 or 6 matching or 5 matching out of 10. So you didn't want to apply. A lot of people don't apply for a job thinking about that.
Yes. I know
And
I'm mature enough now, but at that time, I was not. I thought, if people apply for a job now, if a people is 100% fit for a job, I said don't apply, because there is no opportunity for you to grow. You get bored,
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
there is nothing for you to do. So you need to have that 20% of learning new stuff. And I know now I've been sort of seasoned a bit. I know that, but those
Yeah.
days you have to be ticking all the box to be able to do
Yeah,
the job.
yeah. No, but it's
So
a
that,
very powerful message, Aruna, that you gave, because I would say 90% people would not apply for a role where they don't see enough of it. So in your mind, 50% is good enough?
I think 60
60?
is,
All right.
depends
Okay.
on the situation.
All
But,
right.
but the thing important is you need to have the aspiration and willingness to learn and the attitude to learn,
Right.
and accept that you don't know. And it is not easy for me also. When I took on that executive role, it's actually a two-step up to where I
Hmm.
was.
Hmm.
And I was still a bit nervous. It never put me in the comfort zone. I've never been in a comfort zone, I think, in any role, because it's always been, I had the things I didn't know. I felt, to say people that I don't know, because you're a manager, you're leading a team, and telling no, that I don't know, at that time I considered, it's a no. You need to, if I didn't know, I just kept it myself and found out some ways to know about it, rather
Hmm.
than be gullible
Asking.
there
Yeah.
and saying that I don't know. But these are the
Yeah.
things, it is okay to say no. That's how people sort of take you for what it is, right? Otherwise, nobody can be perfect in everything they do. But that's
True.
what
Very
that
true.
kept me in a very uneasy position, because I'm not knowing everything.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
sort of thing. But
So
again, yeah,
see,
you
couple
said.
of question here, Aruna. So when you take up a role, which is, it's a two-step up. On one side, you're very excited because you made it, and remuneration and everything is very exciting. But then there is a fear, like, no, day one, I'm going into a role which is two-step up, and it's a new organization. People don't know me. I got to prove myself, and how do I do all of those things? So, and of course, you had that fear. How did you manage it, and how did you come out of it?
Okay, there's two things. So one is actually my boss. She was a lovely lady, Joanna Gurry. She was my mentor there. I mean, she was very. She used to coach me,
She was a
help me.
general manager.
Yeah, so she used to coach me and guide me. And also other thing I learned is, throw in the water and you will swim. If you
Mhm.
wanted everything comfortable, all aligned up, never happens. Even when I was doing this tough project in financial crimes, I was thrown in the deep end. But sometimes you need that to actually fight yourself and come up. And if you have support, from your management, it sort of works well. I mean, you do make mistakes, and that's one thing I realized, that people make mistakes, and give them a room to learn from the mistake and come. It's not a mistake, it's actually a learning experience. And
Learning.
uh,
So
you know
another question, Aruna, that comes in my mind is, so from your perspective, of course, you thought 5 was matching out of 10. I got in there and I got it. Looking back, are you able to think through what would have Joanna looked into you that she hired you other than anybody else, though you had only 5 things matching?
So I think definitely the background, the strong data management background I had, data analytics background, which is what she was looking for. The other thing, it had a bit of governance aspects in it, which is a good thing for me because I was more into the data delivery side. And this role gave me a governance aspect as well, data analytics and data governance. So I'm more of a process person. I mean, I need to have in things in structure. There needs to be while a bit of agile, but still I'm not, even if I do a coding, I write comments and everything beautifully. It needs to be aligned. Maybe it's a girl thing, I don't know, but it has to be have a
No, it's a good
process.
thing. Yeah.
It has to have a process, and while I talk, those sort of things comes out.
Right.
And she wanted somebody who has got that structure, who can put a structure in place. It's a new team that she's trying to build. She wanted somebody come in, put a
Yeah,
structure.
for some reason, I'm again thinking of giving MBA as the reason, because um, MBA
Maybe.
doesn't teach you how to do business. MBA teaches you how to become more professional, how to articulate, how to create a report that looks good and it's to the point, and you can speak on a topic, you can debate on a topic, you can do a workshop, you can do a good interview. All of those things you learn in MBA. You don't learn how to do business in MBA, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I think now
you,
that you're telling me, I'm actually rethinking it, because we did group discussions, we did
yeah, yeah,
all of that stuff.
yeah.
Probably that it did help me all across
Definitely.
across.
Definitely. So one of the team members worked for me. She came from training, building courses. She was building courses for CFI. You know, CFI in India. CFI, you may not know. You didn't really work in India. So
Yeah, no.
they used to create courses, the training courses, online courses. So her role was instructional design.
Okay.
Okay. Today she is a lead BA, and every time I talk to her, I say, "You remember the instructional design work you did when you got in testing? That helped
Yeah.
because you were so clean and structured.
Yeah.
When you became a BA, again that helps." So when you were talking about, even when I was doing coding, I was like very structured. Some initial days of education and work really shapes us up how we do things later.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Probably.
sorry, that was coming in my mind, so I thought I'll
Yeah,
speak.
so that's what
Right.
probably in the interview, I'm a bit of a structure. I put a process person, strong data analytics background. That's probably what I probably should have asked. I didn't ask her at the time why you picked me, but I'm assuming this would be the reason. If I meet her, I probably should ask her that question.
So and
But yeah,
how long did you work there?
4 years, 4+ years I
4 years.
worked there. Yeah, and during that time was big data, Hadoop, all of that sort of started coming up. And again, my eagerness to learn the new things, and I raised up and I said I wanted to be, a part of those initiatives. I actually assisted in few of those big data initiatives that CBA had then. And again, you may laugh at it now. So, but I wanted to do, the first time the analytics course, I was talked over it, and the next urge came in. No, I got to do an analytics course. So I actually enrolled in a business analytics course in Deakin University, and I was studying. I did my first subject. Everything went okay. Then that's when my third child came on the way, and I naively said, "Oh, that's fine. I'm going to be in maternity leave because this time now I'm a little settled. I took a longer maternity leave, and I said I'm going to, do all the subjects and done it. By the time I finished my maternity leave, I would have mostly at least covered my, and not 1% of that happened, and I
Mm.
got so exhausted with all of this process, and I let go. I did just do one subject and then didn't do it.
So
So
during
again,
that time, again, analytics was still not being utilized. So you were talking
analytics
about
was
big
not
data.
being utilized at the time. It was business analytics, like how do you use the big data and the Hadoop technologies to drive value for your data. So it's more around the data engineering space, but still the analytics were the traditional form of analytics. But at least
Mm.
you were having these big data platforms which would able to process all the data, all of that stuff which you didn't have before was slowly was able to becoming a enabler for analytics.
Mhm.
One of the
So
reasons.
from there, the current role that you are in, was it from there or in between you worked in, elsewhere as well? The reason
So
I'm asking is, I'm very keen to get into the personal branding and building authority
Yeah,
part
okay.
of it.
I'll fast track it now. So
No. So, you did that for 4 years, and after that, did you do
and
any?
then I got an so I was pregnant, and then maternity leave. I
You
came
came
back,
back, yeah.
and then I wanted a change of career because it's been 4 years. I feel that when you're there in a role for 4 years, there's not much to learn. First year you get familiar.
Good.
Second year
Another
you
message.
establish yourself.
Another very important message. Yes, keep
Yes,
going on.
and then third year you've sort of done mostly.
That's
With
it.
fourth year you are like itching. Now what do I do next?
Yeah,
So
you're
that's
just
been
repeat.
you won't believe me if you look at my including first Westpac 4 years, CBA 4 years. Then I came back to Westpac, and there was a good opportunity in the credit risk space to manage the regulatory compliance program. So I headed up that team end to end. From getting the data to building the models and implementing the models into production. I had the delivery team, support team, and the architects, all of that together. So it was quite hectic because compliance and regulation keeps you on the toes all the time with new regulatory compliance that comes. And I was all then moved into they were doing a risk transformation to analytics transformation program. They were rehauling the full analytics transformation engine with the cloud and other new state of the art technologies then. So I was part of that work for some time, and then again my 4 year period came knocking down the door. You're done your 4 years, you need to look for something. So I don't know, it just subconsciously it's just clicking off. And then again there was something that I was not fully happy. There's something I can do, I'm not, and this analytics, it keeps on coming back to me. I wanted to get that, somehow it keeps moving away from me all the time. So this time I said I have to do it. And then I want to do master of data science or something along that line. And spoke to some of the people there. They said, are you crazy, you're in a mid career, you got probably 4 years, you want to now do another master's and invest 2 years of your life in education. And the others said it's too hard, you need to do it now. So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, so while I was working in Westpac, then again the urge to learn the new technologies that's sort of coming up, and I wanted to, but this time I want to make sure I don't give up. So I wanted to do my preparation. So I asked for advice for people who have been in the analytics space for a long time. So what do you? They said, the statistics and data science is too technical, and even if you do it, you won't get, they were looking for people who had got a lot of experience in that field. So you probably too late. The other said, are you crazy? You're already in the mid of your career. You want to spend another 2 years. Are you really want to go through all of that? So then I had a bit of a doubt. I didn't know what to do. Then I thought, okay, you've been doing target state analysis for your organization and solution, probably do it for yourself. So I actually took some time. I went to the job description and took the job that I wanted, like the job that I'm doing right now, head of AI data science. What are they asking for? So I looked at 10 or different, 15 different jobs. There was a pattern. People ask for different things, but generally there is a pattern they ask for. So I put that, and I put my current experience and what I thought, and I looked at what's the gap. There are two gaps that really came out. One was that they're asking, and especially in data science, they ask for, you need to have masters in data science or a PhD. That's a stock standard. Even I ask nowadays when I ask for data scientist role. So that's one thing I identified. Second thing I identified is that you need to be, if you're going into that sort of level, I wanted to go to the head of and above, you need to be making yourself known to others, which is where the personal branding things come, right? It is up until then, you do a good job at your work. People appreciate what you do in that work. That's good enough. You don't have, that's my perception till then. Going into LinkedIn and spending all the time and energy putting things up, somebody out there who doesn't know you, what's going to happen, right? So that was so what you're doing right now, which is good and a bad, because you're only working for that. Nobody knows about you. Once you leave that organization, then you are again starting from scratch. Nobody else apart from that company knows you, right? So those are the two things that really stood out for me. Then I said, okay, I'm going to fix those two things, which is my gap. And I told my husband, give me 2 years time. All right. So because it does, I need to bring him on board, because there is a lot of time and effort. I need family time.
Commitment,
I
yeah.
need to, so he need to be also be in the same
On board, yeah.
on board with what I'm trying to do. And he was always very supportive of my journey so far. So he said, okay, fine. I personally don't want you to go through all of this, but if that is what makes you happy,
Yeah.
you know,
So the husband is more scared of your all the commitment and hard work and everything has to go in.
yeah. So
Awesome.
he said,
Interesting.
I personally, if you are happy to go through of all of this, I'm
Because
supportive.
you had already done like 3 degrees, right?
Yeah, yeah, I know, I
Yeah,
know.
and then masters, and you tried another postgraduate, and then so yeah, it's a lot of studies. Yes.
Yeah, so it's like, I have that thing. I've been trying and I'm not getting it. So somehow I have to, how come I can't? That's probably one thing. Like if somebody says I can't do it, then I wanted to sort of, why can't I do it? That's
Right.
probably in there somewhere, which is sort of pushing me. So that's what I did. So I took the Master of Data Science course in James Cook University. That was good because it has a lot of SaaS components in it, which helped me to go through the course fairly quickly, because I was
Yeah.
pretty very good at SaaS,
Yes. Yes.
being worked there for many years. So it's really helped me. So it was not, I mean, still there was a few things I learned, but I get excited learning new things. I would
Right.
watch TV, still do programming, and I like the satisfaction when the code works and I get the
Yeah.
result, right? That sort of thing. So I liked this, enjoyed it, and did the course. And I think I was almost finishing. So again, I had a plan. I'll finish the course. I was at the time working in AMP, Financial Services, as a partner. Then I said, okay, I'll finish the course and I will look in AMP for an opportunity to move into that data science and AI space. Otherwise, if not, then I'll look for outside. You plan one thing, something happens again. That is where I see God out there is
Destiny.
looking. I think you put all the effort, hard work, and then rest, leave it up is
Yeah.
what. So
Yeah.
I did my effort. So I was doing that, and I got headhunted by HCL Technologies, and they said, they looked at the profile, they looked at my experience, and they wanted somebody to head their AI and data science practice for this region. So are you interested? So I was like, I was happy. At the same time, I wasn't sure, because course itself takes a long time. It drains you a lot of energy. Like, you do your full-time work and then you have to do your assignments and submission, all of that. So I wanted to finish it off before I start. Then I was thinking, if you let go this, then another opportunity like that to get, you may or may not. At least, I was lucky. I finished all this. There's only one subject that was left to do. I said, that's going to be another 3. But anyway, new career, new job, you want to prove yourself in your new
Sure.
job
Yep.
as well.
Absolutely.
So first impression. So I had these two, but I said, okay, let's get on it. Don't think too much. Let's go, and we'll see what happens. We'll handle it. That's the attitude I had, and I got that opportunity, and I started there, and so I did my job, and I finished my the course, and then I wanted to focus on my personal branding thing, that which I saw there was a gap. So what I was like sussing out, looking into the website, AI communities and stuff like that. So one day I was browsing through this Swiss cognitive AI community, which was a global community. I just wanted to reach out to them and ask them, how can I sort of contribute, in sense contribute, help them with any of their initiatives. That's all. I was not looking to do any big. I didn't know where to start. I just sort of researched around, and I spoke to that lady, and the way I spoke, she saw the passion in me, and she said, we are doing a conference, a global conference, a week or two, in 2 weeks time. It's about AI and leadership. You got leadership experience and AI. Do you want to speak? First speak in a global conference. I think they had many countries, for 6,000 people, There's a global, I don't know, number of countries, more than 80 countries maybe there. One word that keeps on, it says Richard Branson used to, I read it somewhere and still there, till now it's stuck on me. He says, if somebody offers you an amazing opportunity and you don't know,
say
say
yes,
yes, and then you figure it out what to do, and you learn it out, right? That stuck on me, like, no, any situation, I just think about it. And I said, and it was only 5-10 minutes conversation. I said yes, not knowing, because how am I going to do, it's the first ever, there was a lot of, I said yes, and then because I said yes, now I have to keep up with my commitment, I can't go back on it. So it was first one was a bit of a, getting used to. I got into that conference, reasonably did well, and from then on people started knowing me, people started approaching me and asking for, would you want to participate in this conference, would you want to do this? And I also started being very active in LinkedIn, started putting things in there, that could, I can share my experiences. That was there. That was one aspect of it. The other aspect is, when I was in AMP, we had to do a data literacy. We were running this AI and data literacy program, right? And then what we explored is, why don't we do it in animation form to sort of raise interest. So there was one of this person, he was doing cool animation, those automatically writes everything. And that's why I loved it. I was thinking I should know how to do it, because I like design and doing it. And I asked that person, how do you do it? It looks so nice. And he said, do you want to learn? I said, yes, I want to. And again, he was leaving the job and they were looking for somebody to do that sort of videos. And I said, yes. And there was, every 2 weeks, they have to release one of the videos. And first one was a little bit not sure where to start, where to go. He did give me a handover. And I said to myself, Arun, do you really want to commit yourself to, now you're committed? I said yes to my boss and I have to do it. Now I'm struggling. So, but somehow with all the work and other pressure, I did it and put it, and it worked. It came out well. And I was doing slowly for my company around data and AI literacy. And I did a small course on in RMIT on AI strategy. Because I wanted to know how to do that AI strategy side of things, because I had a break when I was doing my Master of Data Science. 3 months, I didn't have anything to do. And I was in this learning spree. I don't want to give a gap. I said, okay, I will take this little course, which is only a 8-week program on AI strategy. I'm going to do it. So I went there and did it. And the end of the course, we have to do a 2-minute video on what is AI. And everybody was doing in PowerPoint and stuff. And I said, I know this animation, why don't I use it and do it? Right. So no expectation. It's just that, I knew this and I want to do it. So I did it. And when I put it on there, everybody, my mentor, he didn't expect this, and he was blown away. And because of the animation and the simplicity, I don't know what, and all of them got, mine was the star performer there, and everybody liked it. And in fact, here the professor said, other professor wanted to use it. They wanted my permission to use it for other kids. I was like, I never expected all of this. And I then realized that there is the community out there who wants to learn, because one of the things I found with AI is it is considered very complex and too hard, too difficult, and too technical. And I want to demystify. That was one of my aims. So using video animation, using simplified language, I thought, yes, it looks like people are interested in it. So that's when I started delivering one video every month. I first created what is AI, then history of AI, types of AI, why do you need AI strategy, ethics in AI.
So when you say you started to create, that was in AMP or on your personal channel or something?
My personal, I created a YouTube, because I said now YouTube people channel. There seems to be interest. And I slowly, that's how I picked up, then I.
So this whole personal branding journey, how long has that been going for?
If you won't believe, the personal branding, I only started July this month.
July this year. So last 3 months. That's it.
That's it.
So, but the when did you speak?
The videos I created before. The videos I created before.
When did you speak the first time? The conference.
July
itself.
July.
So that's fairly new, and in 3 months itself, you have serious traction.
Yeah, I think there is one thing if I go on one thing, I go really head on. He used to say you just probably that sort of urge. And if I look back, it's not, it looks like so many years I've done, but it's actually last few. But the videos after that course, I saw interest and I slowly created a YouTube channel and then put one video and then another once a month I started releasing one by one video. I can see people looking at it. And the most amazing bit in the video, interesting people like what is history of AI more than any other videos I've put
Is
in.
it okay?
And I was
Interesting.
thinking why people want to know history of, I thought that was one of the subject you're not interested. You probably want to know how to build a strategy or how is AI in banking. But even if I look at it now, that's the most performing video. And I'm still surprised why people are so amazed with the journey of AI, but just as a side note. So that's how I created a YouTube channel. And then I started, after the YouTube channel, I wanted to just try it out. So what do I do next? I said, I'll just do, speeches, like, 2-minute speeches and post it in the LinkedIn. That's what I was thinking. But then when this conference thing came in, after that, I had people reaching out to me, and I was also open. I would say, I didn't say no to any, opportunities I got, because I want to make this as an opportunity to, you don't want to be seen as not out there, be available. So I accept, even though sometimes it's very hard to balance with everything, but I tried. Initially it was hard. Now it's become, I'm accustomed to, I can manage. I've got a little timetable. I put things there and plan it accordingly. And that's how, and then I started speaking, and then started writing blog articles, and the video animation, it slowed down a little bit, but I want to go back. So I did a video on AI in banking. So basically, two things I wanted to do. One is make it easy for everyone to understand. AI is for everyone. How do I make it simplified? And also from a business perspective, I don't want to go technical. It's more, how can business drive value from where is AI and ML techniques out there? So I created an AI in banking video, which gives, now I wanted to create one for each of the domains. So, if someone wants to, in a banking industry, and want to know what AI can do for them in 5 minutes, they will get a very good high level overview of the potential of AI in banking. So, and I see the animation is driving the interest. Even I like watching videos rather than reading something
Right.
for a long time. So I
Right.
think there is,
So it's
that's
been
how.
amazing journey, Aruna. A couple of quick questions running in my mind. One is, when do you think it's a right time to start building personal brand? And personal brand is not just about being on a stage. Like every little thing you did, the video, the blog, the speaking, authoring, everything is all of those things are involved as part of building your visibility and authority. And you said, especially when you start to move into senior management role, it is vital these days. You just can't
Yeah.
be unknown if you're getting into senior management role. But looking back, and now you know the world has changed. At what stage you would suggest a professional to start building a little bit of personal branding?
There's no time even when you're studying in uni, start
Start
it.
from there.
Start
I
from
wanted to hear that. I didn't want to say, because a lot of people say he's a career coach and he wants to put his
No,
ideas
I
in
mean,
there.
I think I'm very, very late in this game. Very, very late in this game.
No, I completely agree. Today, it's much easier to find a job if you could build a little bit of brand, and it doesn't cost money to build a brand.
Exactly.
It does require effort, and that's where my next question is. So you have a family, 3 kids, and a husband, and a very high accountability job. You still do keynote speaking and YouTubing and blogging, and how do you find time?
I'm not lying. It does take a bit of a planning, bit of
Bit of a planning,
support by my family members as
family.
well.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say but the passion drives me. If you have a passion and you find a
So
way.
that was my third question actually. You never get bored and exhausted doing all this much.
Yeah. I mean, the thing beauty is, if I get to do a job which is, you expect, what exactly need to be done, you go in the morning and come back, I get bored and stressed out and tired very easily. I'm okay to be stressed out in this way where I don't have time, I'm doing a lot of these things, but you get a personal satisfaction that you've done, because my if you look at my career, what my success in the future would see is, if I'm being seen as an evangelist on AI and data science and the potential is got, if I'm able to influence or inspire other women, being able to be women in tech and AI and leadership, that's what I see, right? So that's what drives me, the passion to be able to do that, and I'm lucky enough that I'm able to do it. And
And throughout this journey, any influence, like you talked about your boss, CBA boss, Joanna, are there any other influences, either your supervisor or anybody else whom you looked at and say, maybe, this is something I want to do? Any kind of influence that you want to call out?
see, there are a few key people during my journey in a small way, big way. They have helped me in this. Jonah Gary, there is, Michael Seek, who was there at one
Yeah.
point, helping me in the CBA. In the SAS days, Margaret Anderson, who was my training coach then, at various, like even now in my current role, I've got few peers. There's who there are people who I can go and tell anything. You don't have to have any reservations, be open and say, and they will be support you. And I've got quite a few people there. And most importantly, I've got a coach at my home and my husband, and he's very critic. And sometimes, I think that is very important. So anything I do, even now, if I give any speech, I still ask him to give me feedback. How did I do? What can be? And I tell him to tell me the feedback, and he gives the feedback. Sometimes he gives point blank feedback, which I get sometimes annoyed, and I do sort of get sometimes upset. And he says to me, I'm the only one who can tell you black and white, what is needed to improve yours, right? So there are other people can tell you, but they can only go to a certain extent, right? But
Right.
from me you're going to get the real. So sometimes you do get upset because you've done all the effort and you get this, you wanted to people tell you that you're doing well, and getting that negative feedback sometimes gets on you. But he's there,
Amazing.
mentoring, coaching me, and try helping me with all the journey. I wouldn't have been here, and my mom as well supporting me all through. I think they are the ones, the main
So
mentors, I would say.
that's fantastic. And the final question for you is, if you had to go back, start all over again, or let's say, what would you say to the 20-year-old Aruna now?
So if I have to summarize all the key points that I've sort of, first, as you said, right, ask for help. Don't hesitate. If you ask for help, you get it. Otherwise, you won't get it. So that's one thing. Um, be curious to learn all the time. Have the, there's never enough, even after 10 years, I might be learning something or other. There's always, things to do, learn.
And prioritize learning. It will
Yeah,
never, time will never be enough. You got to prioritize
exactly.
learning.
So, and don't be in your comfort zone. Don't
That's
be in your comfort. If you're having a feeling that you're in a comfort zone, maybe you're not doing
growing.
the right thing, right? So you got to move on. Make your presence known, right? So
Make your
that is,
presence known.
make your presence known, and celebrate your even small success. That's one
Small
thing.
victories.
Because I used to think, if I
Oh,
tell
it's yeah,
everyone, they
it's a
used to think
small
I'm
thing.
trumping
Mm,
blowing my own trumpet. Because
mhm.
if I don't tell, they're not going to know about it.
Right,
And then how do they know that I've got these capabilities, right? These skills.
right, right.
So these days, I think younger, this generation is very lucky. They've got various mediums to
Yeah.
express themselves, and a lot of coaches like you are coming up and helping, which we probably at those days didn't get. It was hard. Even if you want to learn some courses, you have to ask company to pay $3,000, go to a
Yeah.
class, sit down and do it. These days online, free, you just go YouTube
Yeah.
it, you get everything, right? So I think this generation has got all the all the right things. They just have to start using it and getting value out of it.
That's wonderful. Thank you for all the sharing. You kind of did a 1 hour crash course in building career.
Oh,
So yeah, I couldn't have expected more than this. Anything you thought maybe Asan should have asked this question, he missed it.
and no, I think we've pretty much covered you. We covered the whole thing. I went through the whole journey. I don't know. Is there anything left? I think this is the first interview I've opened up. I really opened up because there are certain things you don't tell
Yeah,
to anyone because But then I think I'm in the maturity level now. I want
yeah,
people to be learning from those
yeah,
difficult journeys.
absolutely.
Life is not full
Absolutely.
of bed of
Roses, yeah.
roses. There is ups and downs. The priorities, I was saying kids, right? So there was a guilt for a long time, and
Yeah.
now I have the maturity, and I'm proud that I was able to draw a balance and able to
Mm,
do both
mm,
equally. I may not be best at both, right?
mm,
But at least I've given my best to both.
mm. Yeah.
uh,
Mm,
that's
fantastic.
how I see it. So yeah, so I think your interview made me to open up, and otherwise usually I'm a very introvert person. I don't open up that often. So thank you for
Didn't
giving.
didn't appear to be like that. You did fine.
Yeah. So it was
No,
nice.
really appreciate it, and I'm hoping it will inspire a lot of men and women both, because there's a lot of um, unreasonable excuse that it's not possible or it will not happen because so and so and so and so. I mean, you had all those situations, having kid and first job and all sort of things. So you have shown a way by sharing your story that it's possible.
Yeah.
Doing a MBA and then becoming a technical person, and then again back into a management role, and a very very senior management role. And then I really like those matching the, and I I'm not doing anything extraordinary in my coaching. I'm just sharing what you guys already do. So I say, when you have this confidence issue of I don't know whether I can do the job, simply put what all you know and know your current resume, and then put the next resume and see which one is not matching, and then ask yourself, can I justify that? If you
Yeah.
can justify, you don't even have to study. Or it's not always you need a course. You could just do a small training
Yeah.
or a free thing. As you said, there is so much of free available, and then ticket. It's as simple as that. So the fact that you did analysis, that itself is 80% won. The battle is
Yeah.
won 80% when
Yeah.
you did that analysis.
Yeah. Yeah, people
Yeah.
don't know, because even I didn't know, right? And then I was just thinking about it. I'm doing this target state architecture, current state, and gap analysis, coming up with initiatives. Your personal life is also the same thing, your
It's
professional
exactly
life.
the same thing. Yeah,
There's
exactly
nothing
the same
different.
thing.
Then you put a roadmap and initiatives. I did, okay, I want to
That's
do
it.
this from this to
That's
this,
it.
and I want to do that. And then just
No,
you,
you were lucky. You kind of thought and did it. A lot of people are not aware. It sounds so simple, right? But
yeah,
most people do not do. They get scared. So most of the questions I get from people is, "Oh, I've been in technical role for a long time. If I get into a management role, first of all, why would somebody offer? Because I'm good at that.
yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah,
Second question would be, what if I fail?
yeah,
So they've never done that. Anyway, that's another topic. So
yeah.
first of all, at the end, I really want to thank you for coming on the show and share your story, which is going to be definitely helpful for a lot of people. And if people anybody has to reach out to you for any suggestion, any guidance, what's the best way to reach out?
LinkedIn. I'm quite active
LinkedIn.
there.
Yeah,
So,
you're quite active there.
and
So
I'm
that's
every day. I'm morning, afternoon, evening. I just check a bit.
Yeah, you have a skill structure. This is another question I ask when I'm coaching individuals. Like, what do you think Aruna is active? Why do you think, say, somebody really accomplished is active? So one of my virtual mentors is John C. Maxwell. I mean, on the back end, I would have at least 4 or 5 of his books. He is active. There's a gentleman called Ken Blanchard. He's 80s plus. He wrote the 1 Minute Manager, gentleman who wrote
Oh, yeah,
one
yeah,
and so many 1 minute series.
yeah,
He is active, literally active in
yeah,
80s.
yeah,
Why are those people active and why are you not active? So there is a reason why they are active.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Okay,
it
and
is becoming my learning tool. It's not just for me
yeah,
to share. I actually get to know a
no,
lot of things through
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it will go on or over. So we will come
Yeah.
to an
Yeah.
end, and
I
it
know.
was lovely talking to you, and we will catch up again soon.
Yeah, sure. Thank